but obviously we can let them know. Good morning, colleagues. We're obviously due to start at around on the hour, so in around 4 minutes time, but we're going to give it a few more minutes after the hour as well to allow for more colleagues to join. So thanks for joining already, and yeah, we'll get started in a few minutes. I know I can see a few more people have joined. Thanks for joining on time. We're going to wait a few more minutes just to allow some other colleagues from across the region to join the call. So perhaps we'll get started at around 3 minutes past the hour, just to ensure we allow enough time for people to join maybe from previous calls. But thanks so much for joining on time, and we'll get started shortly. Okay, good morning, everyone. I can see there's around 25 people here now, so I think we can get started. And it's great to see so many familiar names in the participant list this morning. So as many of you may know, my name is Freya Milford, and I'm the project officer working at UNEP CCC on the CBIT GSB project, and I work closely with, obviously, your network coordinator, Kaltoum, in the MENA region. And yeah, today we'll be holding the annual meeting for the MENA Transparency Network to go over what has been done in 2025 and looking forward to 2026. So I'll be moderating today's session, but before we get started into the thick of the presentation, I'd like to ask Denny Desgain to open with some opening remarks. So over to you, Denny.
Thanks a lot, Freya, and thanks a lot, Keltoum. And so good morning, good afternoon, everybody. So dear MENA country representatives and of course dear colleagues, on behalf of UNEP CCC and the CBGSP, so I would like to welcome you all to the annual network meeting of the MENA Transparency Network. And as Freya has mentioned, the objective of this meeting is really to reflect on the achievement of the work down through 2025, but also to discuss, identify the priorities, the support needed for 2026. So as you know, of course, the year 2025 has been a pivotal year, an intense year for the world, and also including for the MENA region related to climate transparency. So many of your countries were during this year in the final stage of preparing and submitting their first BTR, advancing also GHG inventory, strengthening their your NDC tracking system, but also engaging in emerging topics such as digital MRV system, adaptation monitoring and evaluation, or also Article 6 reporting. So the MENA regional network under the CBIT GSP groups a lot of countries, each of you with different national context, eventually different priorities, but despite those, so to speak, differences, all the countries in the regions have demonstrated strong commitment and strong progress toward implementing the enhanced transparency framework requirement. So recognizing the needs of your countries, so the CBIT GSP has delivered a quite substantial program of capacity building activities during 2025. And the purpose of those activities was to support your countries to meet their reporting requirements, their reporting obligation, enhancing the quality of the transparency systems, the transparency processes, and from there, of course, the quality of the national report submitted to UNEP CCC. So this support has been provided through a combination of different types of modalities, including regional webinars, in-person workshop, learning session, peer-to-peer exchanges, and has also targeted in-country technical support. So as a concrete example of those support, I can, for example, mention the flagship regional workshop, which has been held in Cairo, in Egypt in October 2025, which has focused on the linkages between NDC and BTR, but also on NDC tracking and Article 6 reporting. So this workshop brought together experts from countries across the region, together with technical partners to strengthen practical understanding of reporting requirements. On top of this, of course, you had also several regional webinar series which were organizing. And I can mention, for example, the series on adaptation reporting, QA/QC, and inventory work plans. You had also one on NDC tracking and projections tools. You had one on Article 6 reporting and one also on climate finance reporting. So really a quite long list of substantial activities. And just to give you an idea of the volume of work that you have done actually during this 2025 year, I can mention that 46 activities have been delivered only in 2025. And this represents actually an increase of 24% compared to 2024. I can mention also another number is that through all these activities, more than 2,400 participants have attended those activities, including women accounting for 50%. And this is actually a quite significant milestone when you compare to the other regional network of the CBIT GSP, showing that the MENA network has very strong indication of growing gender inclusion in climate transparency processes. So in addition to those regional events, I can also mention 21 in-country support activities which have been conducted in 2025, including in Iraq, Jordan, Sudan, Egypt, Morocco, Lebanon, Saudi Arabia, and Bahrain. And these missions have been supporting countries on different thematics, including GHG inventory development, IPCC software, QAQC, NDC tracking, smart indicators, and so on. So when we look at what has happened in the region, we are really pleased to note actually that building on those activities, that the region has made a significant progress in reporting. So I can mention that 11 MENA countries have submitted their first BTR between 2024 and 2025, but also that 10 countries have submitted or finalized their so-called NDC 3.0 during 2025. And this represents a major achievement for the region, of course, and demonstrate the dedication of your countries, your teams, despite tight deadlines, competing priorities, and institutional challenges. So I want to flag here that all this work done under the CBIT GSP would also have not been possible without, of course, the collaboration and the contribution from other partners. So in 2025, we have had many collaboration with different partners, including UNDP, FAO, UNEPROA, UNFCCC Secretariat and the CGE, of course, but also GGDI and RCC MENA. And as I have mentioned, their contribution really helped to deliver high-quality technical support tailored to your country needs. So now as we move to 2026, so of course the CBIT GSP will continue for one more year, supporting all the MENA countries through the next phase of the transparency processes. So the priorities will really be identified, needs to be identified by you, including during this webinar today. But different ideas or different big topics could be related to BTR2 preparation, support to implementing technical expert review recommendation, advancing work on adaptation and loss and damages, monitoring and evaluation reporting, strengthening, of course, NDC tracking and GHG inventory. Okay, but really we count on you to identify, prioritize the needs to, of course, ensure that the support provided in 2026 under CBIT GSP meets your needs. So the MENA Network 2026 work plan will then be prepared based on the work, of course, held in 2025, but also based on the MENA BTR analysis report prepared in November-December 2025. And as I have mentioned, so today's annual meeting is really a key forum, the key place to for you, for your countries, for you to discuss the priorities, identify the needs, and jointly shape, of course, the next cycle of transparency support in the region, including under the CEBIT GSP. So before closing, finalizing my remarks, I first of all also would like to thank Keltoum, so your regional coordinator, for all the work that she has done during 2025. So she has been really a key player, a key team player for making this possible. So while now we will move to 2026, so the CEBIT GSP team, together, of course, with the partner, look forward to continue working with all of you, strengthening, of course, the technical and institutional capacities and supporting the MENA region, the MENA countries, to deliver high-quality, ambitious, and transparency reporting under the Paris Agreement. So thanks to all of you for your time, for your dedication during the past year, and we look forward to the discussion today during this webinar. So I will stop here, and back to you, Freya and Keltoum.
I was muted. Thank you so much, Denny, for those opening remarks. I thought, well, Denny's given a really good summary of kind of the topics that we'll be covering today. So I can just I'll very quickly just go over the objectives and quickly run through the agenda before handing over, obviously, to your network coordinator, Keltoum, to start the bulk of the session. So obviously, the key topics that we want to sort of go through today in this meeting is to obviously evaluate the progress that has been made in the 2025 work plan and also look at the work plan for 2026. And I think an important thing that we also want to do in this meeting is to really showcase some of the key achievements that have been made over the region, and also hear from you, from the people who have been working in the region, the people working in the different countries, on some of the lessons learned that have been achieved. So this will kind of carry out through after I've handed over to Keltoum. We'll be running through some of the key achievements that have taken place in 2025. Then we'll be hearing from some of your colleagues from across the region on their experiences on some of the support that has been received from the CEBIT GSP project in 2025. And of course, there'll be times during this to also ask questions to your colleagues throughout. We'll then be hearing from, obviously, our very valuable partners who we've worked extensively with across the region and who we can't do the work in the region without. So we'll be hearing from UNDP, FAO, GGI, and UNEP ROA. We'll then be having a short BTR pulse check-in using Mentimeter just to kind of ask some questions to the participants on the call today relating to the status of your country's BTRs in your countries. And then we'll be looking at the work plan for 2026. And of course, throughout this entire meeting today, we want to be hearing from you. We want to be hearing from all of you. So please feel free at any point during today's session. Of course, we have some dedicated question and answers and interaction points throughout, but please feel free to make use of the Q&A and the chat functions. Ask all your questions as we're running through the presentations, and of course we can come back to them. Or if you feel like you really you want to immediately, there's something on the slides that you really want to talk about and talk to, feel free to raise your hand, and of course we can try to address that as we're going through. Before I hand over to Keltoum, it would be really great if we could get a group photo with everyone. So what I'm first going to do is I'm going to stop sharing so that I can see as many of you on the screen as possible. So give me a second. And then if everyone could could turn on their cameras, it would be great. I don't know, Keltoum, if you can... my viewpoint isn't that good. Oh, here we go. So if everyone could turn on your cameras and we can try and get some pictures with everyone. I know it's early, but it'd be great to see so many of you this morning. There's quite a few of us, so I might just need a second or two. Thank you. Okay, one more. Sorry. And then I'll let you all turn them off again. Okay, great. Thank you so much, everyone. And now over to Kaltoum, who you all know very well, but perhaps you can briefly introduce yourself, Kaltoum, for the sake
Yeah,
of the
of
call.
course. Just 1 second. Sorry. Thank you very much, dear colleagues. Thank you, Freya, and thank you, Dennis, for the great opening remarks. It's a great pleasure to see you all connected today and to see so many faces, so many colleagues that we had the pleasure to work with during this year. So my name is Kaltoum Bilhaj. I'm the regional coordinator of the CBGSP in the Middle East and North Africa region, and it's a pleasure working with you. In this session, I will be presenting the key achievements and results of the CBGSP MENA Transparency Network during this year, 2025, which marks our second year of implementation of CBGSP in the MENA region. So this year, the network delivered a total of 46 activities, up from 37 in 2024, reflecting an increase of 24% and growing demand from countries. Most activities were delivered online, while in-person events and technical review and also advisory support increased compared to last year. Participants also grew significantly with over than 2,450 participants during this year, representing an increase also of more than 80% compared to last year. But this is just in terms of attendance. It means not participants by name, but attendance, the number of attendance. And importantly, we have women counted for 50% of participants this year. And as you can see below, activities this year were more heavily distributed throughout the year. This year, regional activities became more technical and targeted compared to last year, with 24 regional events compared to 21. And these includes 18 technical webinars, 3 dedicated experience sharing webinars, in addition to 2 in-person events with 1 regional workshop that was held in Cairo. In terms of participation, we have more than the double, reaching over 2,100 participants from the 20 MENA countries. And when it comes to the women representation, we reach out this year 49% compared to 47% in terms of regional events. This is thematic breakdown that was like focus this year. This year was particularly important. As you know, many countries were preparing their NDC 3.0, which just explained the strong emphasis of BTR and NDC linkages, NDC tracking, identifying indicators, and also projection during this year. And in parallel, we continued support was provided in terms of adaptation reporting, guiding countries step by step across all country reporting elements. On GG inventory, we had also sessions on KC procedures, inventory work plans, and data management. We had also sessions on TOR process, technical expert review, preparation with some dedicated sessions clarifying like timelines, expectations from countries, and even their readiness. In addition, we had other additional thematic areas like climate finance reporting, FTC reporting, digital MAV systems, and also Article 6 reporting. So here just the total of regional events that was held, and so many of them are webinar series, which mean more than one session. I'm just going to highlight the MENA webinar series on adaptation reports and under the ATF, held for 5 days in March, supported by the Eurasia Network and our colleague Slajana. Thank you very much for her. And also MENA webinar series on inventory, KC, inventory work plan and data management, and also institutional arrangements in April in 3 days. Another webinar series on digital MAV and climate transparency platform that was held in May in collaboration with the Francophone Network and UNDP. Another webinar series on linkage between NDC and BTR, focus on NDC tracking and projection tool that was held in November, right after the workshop held in Cairo in October. And we close the year with the last webinar series on foundations of Article 6 reports and under the Paris Agreements in November in collaboration with GGI and RCC MENA. In the meantime, we had a lot of other webinars like on technical expert review, on NDC linkages with BTR, on the CBIT Phase 2 projects with an experience sharing from Uganda and Lebanon. We had another one on FTC supports and financial supports reporting, and I think another one on climate transparency platform as well. All right, here's some pictures from our regional events held virtually. Thank you very much for all people who attended our webinars and for your trust. Also here, I am recalling the regional workshop held in Cairo. We would like to take this opportunity to thank the government, first of all, of Egypt for hosting these events, and also to thank all partners, UNDP colleagues, UNFCCC Secretariat, CGE, and also GGI, for the valuable support in making this event successful. And I want also to thank all countries, the 14 countries who participated, and especially those who shared their experiences during the 5 panel discussions. Talking about experience sharing, it was a major feature of the MENA network transparency this year. So throughout the year, we had multiple countries presented their experiences, their best practices, their challenges, their lessons learned. And even this year, we have Lebanon. Lebanon was the most active contributor, sharing experience in 5 different events on different topics like NDC tracking, or NDC 3.0 linkages, implementation, adaptation reporting on digital tools, also during the Global Transparency Forum. And then we have Egypt, Jordan, Morocco, and Tunisia, who shared their experience 4 times. On adaptation, also on NDC and BTR linkages, on TOR process, and during the regional workshop. Then we have Saudi Arabia and Algeria contributed to 2 events each on adaptation, KC, inventory management, and institutional arrangements. And Bahrain, Somalia, and Sudan shared their experience this year for the first time during the regional workshops. And thank you very much for all of you. So this slide presents all events that includes experience sharing sessions along with the countries that contributed to each event. As you can see here, these exchanges were not limited only to the MENA region. We also benefit from contributions from other transparency regional networks, including from Africa, Anglophone Africa Network and Francophone one, and also the Lusophone. So we have countries like Uganda, Seychelles, Cabo Verde, and South Africa. From Eurasia and Central Asia and Caucasus, we had Tajikistan, Serbia, and Montenegro. So when it comes to the in-country support, during 2025, the network delivered 21 activities with 6 in-person training, 10 virtual support activities. It's mainly the double of last year, and support for 6 BTR review and technical advisory, 4 BTR review and 2 technical advisory. For participation, it remained stable with almost 300 participants, with female participation increased significantly from 44 last year to 61% for in-country support. And as you can see below, so the activities were consistently distributed throughout the year, with the support delivered like almost each month, every month. This year, in-country support covered also several key technical areas like BTR preparation and ATF implementation for Iraq, Jordan, Sudan, Bahrain, and Morocco. On ATF requirements, use of ATF tools, CERTIS, ATF tables, understanding the TOR process. We had also GG inventory support that was provided mainly for Sudan and for Jordan. Jordan, we had a hands-on work on the 2006 IPCC guidelines and IPCC software and KAKC procedures. When it comes to support on NDC tracking, it was delivered to Morocco and Bahrain, focusing on indicators on smart targets, including the use of the FAO NDC tracking tool in Morocco. And another thing is that in collaboration with Saudi Arabia, we are working on developing a guide on response measures. And we have, in addition, Lebanon and Egypt, who received an advisory support on CBIT project design. And Iraq, Morocco, and Jordan benefit from the BTR quality review in order to improve data consistency and the ATF alignment. And because of that, the Iraq and Jordan submitted right after their BTRs. Here's some good memories from in-country supports provided. We have Amman in Jordan in July, the workshop in Port Sudan in October, the workshop in Iraq, in Erbil in March, and also the last one in Marrakesh, Morocco, which was held in December in collaboration with FAO. Here also some pictures from our events, virtual supports for in-country activities. So as you can see, some faces of our colleagues from FAO and from UNEP CCC, also from all other countries and UNDP. And here just the table of the main events held as in-country support activities that I captured here in Jordan, in Iraq, Lebanon, in Morocco, in Bahrain, in Egypt, in Saudi Arabia, Sudan, etc. As mentioned previously, the gender balance in MENA region improved significantly during this year. So we have a total participation increase from more than 1,300 last year to more than 2,400 this year, with women accounted for 50% of participants compared to 46 last year. Female participation nearly doubled, and this was observed mainly in in-country activities, particularly the virtual ones. In terms of satisfaction, feedback remained consistently high and improved this year. So overall, we have 96% of participants express positive satisfaction, which means satisfied or very dissatisfied, during this year, compared to 91% in 2024. with this year, we have a notable increase in terms of very satisfied responses from 42% to 55%. Satisfaction level were particularly strong for in-country activities, reaching 97% compared to 95% for regional events. And this is just confirming that the activities delivered were, we can say, relevant and responsive to the country needs. In terms of partnerships and collaborations, so 5 regional events were delivered this year, and these events covered a wide range of areas, including NDC 3.0, BTR linkages, digital tools, Article 6 reporting. And as you can see, and it's the same case as last year, the UNDP was our most frequent partner, collaborated on 3 events, particularly the regional workshop and digital MAV system webinar series. While we have also UNFCCC contributed to 2 events, one of them is the regional workshop. GGI also contributed to 2 events, the regional workshop and also webinar series on Article 6 reporting in collaboration with RCC MENA also this year. This year, when it comes to the in-country support, we provided 4 in-country workshops throughout strong collaboration with our partners. So here also we have UNDP, which financed and hosted many national workshops, notably Jordan, in Sudan and Morocco. And in close collaboration with the FAO, also 2 workshops were organized in Sudan and Morocco. UNAPROA at the same time led the national workshop in Iraq with the technical contributions from CBGSP. And we sincerely thank, first of all the governments and as well as our partners from UNDP, FAO, UNAPROA, UNFCCC, GGI and RCC MENA for their strong and continued support in making these in-country and regional activities possible. So this slide is just highlighting some of the main challenges we observed across the MENA region while implementing the CBGSP activities this year. Countries, we can say, are still at different levels when it comes to understanding ETF requirements, BTR submission and preparation. We have some of them who already submit their BTR. We have some of them are in the final stages and others didn't start yet. So we have, we can say, different level in understanding some special areas when it comes, for example, to projections, adaptation, and loss and damage reporting, especially loss and damage, as not many countries reported on that in their BTRs, climate finance reporting, and Article 6 reporting, which means that maybe additional time and follow-up support are needed for these countries. The language also remains as one of the challenges, as working across the MENA region, it means Arabic, English, and French, and sometimes this affects participation and understanding during technical discussions. And at the same time, many countries were managing several processes in parallel this year. So as you know, this year we had to prepare the NDC 3.0, some of them to prepare the BTR, the second BTR, to start the BTR 2, or to submit their BTR, also the civic projects activities. We have 2 adaptation communications submitted this year as well. And this is a kind of limiting the availability of technical teams. Yeah. Some of the key lessons we learned from this year, one clear takeaway is that Early planning and close coordination with national focal points are essential, especially given the tight national calendars and reporting deadlines. And also activities work best when they are tailored to country needs and combine as much as we can in-person support with a follow-up virtual sessions. Second, we can say that providing interpretation whenever it's possible, because it's clearly improving participation and understanding, particularly when it comes to technical sessions. And of course, we cannot forget about working closely with partners, which would help improve in coordination and also in order to avoid duplication of efforts in the MENA region. And all of these are just feeding the next year work plan. To conclude, we have so many opportunities for next year, and we see strong potential to deepen technical support for BTR2 preparation, to support other countries who are still working on the BTR1, who would start next year, etc. And especially for BTR2 preparation, we would like to help countries addressing the TOR recommendations. There is also growing demand to strengthen work on projections on adaptation, loss, and damage, and not only when it comes to the reporting, but also for the monitoring and evaluation. Many countries are showing increased interest in terms of MRV systems and digital and data management tools. And at the same time, we should work more on the regional transparency workforce with more junior experts actively involved. Looking ahead, we see strong value in terms of increasing South-South collaboration and cross-network peer learning, and not to mention also improve our coordination with our partners in the region and provide, whenever it's needed, the translation to better reflect the region's language diversity. And that's all from my side. Thank you very much for all of you for your attention. Over to you, Freya.
Thank you so much, Kaltoum. I think that was a really great sort of overview of everything that happened in 2025 across the region, and a great summary of sort of some of the key lessons and some of the key areas that maybe we need to be focusing on as we move into 2026. So I don't know if anyone has any questions or comments to make at this stage, but let me just re-share my slides once more. And it's great to see as well so many of you joining today. I think we're at around 53 participants, so it's great to see. But I think if no one has any comments so far, what I would like to do now is for us to move into sorry, I've lost my slide. Some of the country perspectives. Oh, I can actually see I can see one hand raised from Nagla from Sudan. Go ahead, Nagla.
Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon, all of these people in Waya sitting. Thank you very much, Kaltoum, for this presentation in the activity 2025. Very, very good job and big effort, and appreciate this issue for the discussion in our this activity in 2025. We need a suggestion for this webinar. We need to the capacity building to in person, because the experience in person better than the webinar. Maybe webinar to give big chance and big opportunity to all the people inside, outside to attending this workshop. But we need to discuss this different issue related to CEBIT activities, maybe in person rather than the webinar in the future in 2006. 2026. Maybe this is very important to share the experience and to discuss in different issue in person in person better than the webinar. I need this suggestion and discuss here in 2026. I hope this in person to successful to this workshop in the future. Thank you very much, Kaltoum, and this
Thank you.
appreciation for the effort and excellent job for the CEBIT through the MENA RCC in Dubai. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nagila. Thank you very much. I would just highlight that working with the ladies from Sudan is just really inspiring. So thank you very much, Nagila. Thank you to Huyam. Thank you to Hannah, to Miss Muna, and to Miss Suzanne as well. Susan, sorry. So the issue for Sudan, it was just because we couldn't get the clearance because of the situation, the current situation in the country. But once the situation is better, you have our word. We will visit you. We will come and support you, inshallah, in collaboration with FAO and Jordanis, my colleague, as we did virtually. But I think it was a good experience for us because the workshop that was held in Port Sudan was very, very interactive. So really participants were showed motivation and interest in learning more about the ATF. And for next year, we are programming another workshop for Sudan. And if this situation is better and we can fly, we can travel to Sudan, we will do it with pleasure. Thank you very much, Nagla.
Thank you, Kaltoum. Thank you very much.
Thanks for that. I can see one more hand raised. I can see Dana from
Dana.
Yes, hello everyone.
Hello, Dana.
This is Dana Louisi from Jordan. Thank you, a big thank you for Kulthum as a team for the support in reviewing the BTR of Jordan and all the support that have been provided for our consultants in Jordan. Either was the National Climate Change Committee, the focal point from Ministry of Environment, our partner in the project, and the Real Scientific Society. I'm really appreciating every minor effort that has been provided to us during our challenging to submit the BTR in this year. We would appreciate every effort has been provided, and we are let's say optimistic to provide the second BTR, the fifth national communication in time. And we will keep contacting you for support and asking for any potential plans or any thoughts in mind for our next year. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dana. It was a pleasure working with you, with Dana, with Rana, and all of the team.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dana, for sharing those lovely comments. So now I think just in the interest of time, and I don't see any more questions or hands raised, I think we should move on to hearing from some of the countries' perspectives from their experiences of the CBIT GSP support received provided this year. So we'll be hearing from 4 different countries and some of the main sort of questions and topics that we've asked these countries to share on are shown on the screen here. I won't really go through each of them just because each of the participants, each of our colleagues who will be sharing the experience will talk to it. But we'll be hearing from Lebanon, Jordan, Sudan, and Morocco. So we'll be hearing from Miss Leah Kai, Miss Mana Abu Hazim, Miss Huyam Ahmed, and Miss Andalus Ben Dris. So I think we'll be starting with Miss Leah Kai from Lebanon to share their experiences. Leah, are you here? I think I can.
I am. Hi everyone.
Hi,
Can you hear me well?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Great. So thank you so much for the presentation. I agree with all what my colleagues already said. Really amazing job by the CBIT team, Kulthum and the team. And I think just the mere fact that there's 54 people today celebrating you and going over the 2025 achievements really shows the engagement that you have created in us to benefit from the program and to contribute. Yeah. So do you want to go through questions, or do you want me just to flow ideas?
It's up to you, Leah. Yeah, Freya, can you share the questions that we already proposed to countries?
Okay, great. So, yes. So then let me make it just maybe I have 10 minutes, not more. So in 10 minutes, summarize how you have supported us, how good or bad it was, and some recommendations for the next phase. So basically, as you described, Kulthum, we had R1, and frankly, honestly, we would have submitted a BTR if it wasn't for the excellent support that you have given us through the webinars, but most importantly, the tailored, customized support. I know you've spent hours with us, with me and my colleague Leah, on the CTF table, on the NGC reporting indicators, and just to know, colleagues, this was like, so the first BTR there was zero guidance, international guidance on what an indicator should look like. So we spent hours debating with Katsui, with Kaltoum, with Musa, and each one has a different idea. So this was extremely beneficial, and we're very proud that in COP we finalized the CTF table. I mean, 5 days before submitting, and we submitted a BTR that we are very proud of. In 2024. We also, so that was, if you want, the bulk, the main support. And here I would like to highlight the flexibility of the CPGSP team in catering to our needs. I know that usually it's easier to mainstream the process, have more regional workshops and regional training and discuss these issues on a regional. But we kept on insisting that we needed national support, that we need something to be tailored to us, that we need your full time, your full attention. We have so many questions that cannot be done in a regional and with other people. And thank you for accommodating this, because this was the success of this initiative. The second also big support that we received too was also tailored just for us. It was for CB2. And Kulthum, we just submitted the CB2 for revision within the UNDP family, and it will go soon to the JEF. Also, minimal comments so far. So also we're very happy that we learned a lot from the Uganda experience. And we were able to, fast forward the process and prepare something that is, in line with the JEF requirements and with what everybody else is doing, so that we don't reinvent the wheel and we customize it to our needs. Main lessons learned, maybe, yes, I think I said them within my ideas. The tailored meetings, the tailored support, the clinic session with the expert that you provide were excellent. You choose very good experts, a very helpful expert, and this don't take this for granted, because usually you request for expertise and you discover that you know more than they do. So thank you for also taking the time, and you selected Uganda because you knew exactly that this would be the right partner in the South-South exchange. In-person meeting in COP29 was amazing, not just from your side, but also we had colleagues from the UNFCCC, and this triangulation between what we think NTC indicators should look like, what you were advising us, and at the end of the day, how it looks like for the UNFCCC, made it very, very easy. So try to make it to every COP. So donors who are here, or try to push it with your donors, you being in presence, in person, in COPs, meeting with all of us is also extremely important to, to benefit from, the in-person presence of everyone. What I would suggest in terms of maybe the new challenges or the way forward. The way forward, I would say let's learn from all the ICAs or the FMSPs that are going around now for developing countries BTRs, but also developed countries. What do we learn? What were the most common issues that were raised? And how we can capture this in BTR2. I'm not sure how many developing countries have gone through reviews. Lebanon review is scheduled for March 2026. So I'm not sure about the rest. But let's keep our eyes. So support us in, streamlining all these comments so that we plan our BTR2. Also, support in writing BTR2 and 6NC or 4NC. There's a bit of confusion here of what is a combined report. Okay, so is it an NC with annex BTR, or is it a BTR with an annex of NC, which is the research? So I think this can be done definitely regional Kulthum. We are all asking now the same question. We all want to present the proposal for BTR3 and BTR4 to Jeff. I think it's about time. So let's start this discussion. Okay. Maybe more support on projection and PAMs. I know in the region, most of us skipped this part of PAM and projections in BTR1, but we all did it eventually for NDC. So it would be interesting also to understand the projections in countries in conflict, for example, MAFI projection is somewhere, but this changes so much. Our reality changes so much that I don't know how relevant these projections are and how flexible they are when we report them. Finally, the new kids on the block, loss and damage, Article 6 support. I see that you have been running lots of webinars on Article 6. Yes, we do need lots of support. Yes, loss and damage. The fund for loss and damage, where do we stand? Where others are standing? Well, definitely topics for regional conversations. Finally, I would like to say thank you. 3, I think, success factors for this program. The relevance of the topics, but most importantly, their time. You cannot do a GHG inventory training in October, while we all know that if you prepare a BTR, you start with the GHG inventory, and you should have finalized it in Jan. If you do your NDC tracking or your FTC support, this usually should come in June, July, because it's like your final stage before you finalize your BTR and submit it. These are very simple things, but because you know them, it comes very, very timely. And we really appreciate this. Second success factor, perseverance. Reminders, registration, it's starting in 50 minutes. It's calendar invite. Believe me, it works. We all have very busy schedules. And once you put it, and once it's on our calendars, and once you send a reminder, we are there, and it works. And yes, the third, I think, having Kulthum and the team, and maybe specifically Kulthum, because you are from the region, you understand the region, you're flexible, you know how our culture works, I think also contributes to our engagement and our commitment. So that's it from my side, and always ready to share our experience, to send recommendations, and to work together for this project.
Thank you very much, Leah. That's really, really sweet of you. That's a pleasure to work with you and with Leah also, because we have the team in Lebanon is composed by 2 Leahs. So it's always a pleasure to work with you. Really very clever and very smart ladies, and they are working very hard to enhance not only the transparency but all other documents, national documents. And congratulations on the submission of the LTLETs this year, of the adaptation communication. I think it's the third one this year on the NDC and BTR. So we are very, very proud of you. Thank you very much, Leah, for your contribution and for sharing your experience with us. And with pleasure, we will include your remarks. So for now, let me call our colleague from Morocco, Andalus Bendris, and here's some questions. The questions were already shared with countries. How do CBIT's activities support your country refining national climate reporting? What are the main lessons learned from the support activities in 2025? And what are the areas of improvements for support activities? And what new challenges do you anticipate for BTR2, and how we can, as a MENA network, address them collectively? Thank you very much. And over to you, Andalus.
Thank you, Kulthum. Please let me know if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you. So good morning, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for inviting us to take part to this annual meeting. Congratulations for all the work that you have done this year. And I would like to really take advantage of this annual meeting to thank the CBIT GSP for the commendable efforts and its continued commitment to supporting countries, especially in MENA region. And to sincerely thank Kulthum for all the support that you are providing to MENA region and to Morocco, including Morocco. I would also thank you for your country-specific approach, which is really key to respond to each priority and each need that are identified among the several countries that you are working with it. So a big thank you for you and for all the effort that you have made with us during 2024 and 2025. Which were really valuable for Morocco. If we move to the questions, well, regarding the activities support, and as you mentioned in your presentation, there was 3 main activities that have been organized, or that Morocco benefited from. And I would like to highlight the most important one. And the first of all, I would like to highlight the quality review of the CTF that were reviewed from your team, Kulthum, and the team before submitting the BTR. This was and highly valuable to be sure that our CTF meet the EDF requirement. You highlight several comments, and that helped us to report and to submit a version with good quality, let's say. The second activity, and also which was really important for Morocco, is the review of all the chapters of our BTR. We submitted and we tried to be at time, so we submitted by the end of last year, and we wanted to have a quality control of all chapters of our chapters of the BTR, and to have technical comments from technical advisors to be sure that we are improving our quality and the way we are reporting data, and we are tracking our NDC, our support, and our adaptation area and actions. And honestly, this activity was really highly appreciable and very valuable for Morocco, and it will help to improve the quality and the quality of the data and the information that will be reported during the BTR2. The third one was an in-country capacity building training, and it was really appreciable by all national and sectoral stakeholders. You were here, Kulthum and Vivian from FAO, and let me also thank FAO for their contribution to this capacity building workshop, and we can just highlight the fact that, as my colleagues highlighted before, that the in-country training are very valuable and helped to be more to take into consideration the needs of each sector and of each country, and to be in a country-specific approach, which is really key to be in line with the ETF reporting requirements. The main lessons, I already said it, the country-specific approach is key and is very important. The webinars that you are organizing are very important also, and the exchange between the countries is very important and valuable. But honestly, the work that you are doing with each country is very important and has more effective results and can be translated to an effective and to an operational actions after the organization of each training or each dedicated webinar, because we take into consideration the need and the priorities, but also the limits and the challenges that are that the sectors are facing. Areas of improvement. Well, honestly, CBT GSP is covering the most important topics related to the ETF. You are doing a great job, very important support to each country in the MENA region. But if I would suggest some improvement, let me just talk about the follow-up mechanism. You organize several webinars and several in-country workshops, and maybe some follow-up activities can ensure that the recommendations are fully implemented and translated into concrete improvement at the sectoral level or the national level, and also to identify where more specific support can be required and can be needed. Regarding the challenges, there is some challenges that's still available that were available in 2024 and are still available and will be available in the couple next of years. It's the main one is data availability. Even if we are working with the key stakeholders regarding, for example, GHG inventory, there is a big lack of data, and we are trying to have technical support to improve the quality and the availability of our data. There is also a big lack on the loss and damage and the support tracking, where CBT GSB has already provide support, but maybe it can be very important for us to have more webinars on tracking support and to exchange with other countries to have more information about the mechanisms that they are using for tracking their supports. Loss and damages, obviously, it's an area where data is not available in Morocco, and I don't really know how to address these themes. We started some dialogue with several ministries here in Morocco and with national experts, but maybe some recommendation from CBIT GSB can be valuable and can improve our reporting regarding these sections. I think that I answered the 4 questions. I want to really thank you for your effort, for your continuing support. And we are looking forward to have more support next year, inshallah. Thank you, Kaltoum. Thank you also, Freya.
Thank you very much, Andalus. It's just a pleasure working with you and all the team also. And we are very keen to continue our supports to the country and all the countries from the MENA region. Thank you for joining us today. I think for now, we will hand it over to Huyam Ahmed from Sudan. Please, Huyam, the floor is yours.
Yes, good morning and good afternoon for all. I will speak by Arabic firstly.
Yes, of course, Huyam. تفضلي.
Thank you, شكرا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. إن شاء الله أنتم بخير كلثوم فلير and other colleague. وشكرا على الدعم المقدم وعلى السبورت حقيقة المستمر في 2025. طيب أدخل على الأسئلة مباشرة. بالنسبة للدعم بتاع أنشطة السبت جي اس بي في 2025، حقيقة كانت الأنشطة بالنسبة لنا يعني دعمها كان في يعني جانا في ظروف شوية، يعني كانت ظروف سوري
تفضلي هيام كملي.
سوري أعتذر بس دقيقة. أعتذر عن المداخلات والمقاطعة. طيب بالنسبة للسؤال الأول في دعم أنشطة السبت جي اس بي في تحسين التقارير الوطنية المتعلقة بالمناخ للسودان، حقيقة الدعم السبت كان ساعدنا كثير في إنه كيف نحن نقدر نخط البلان عشان نقدر نحسن ونطور الجودة بتاع التقارير الشفافية في السودان، بالإضافة للدعم في ما يخص بناء القدرات. كان للخبراء الوطنيين والفنيين في مجالات كثيرة، أهمها بالنسبة للسودان كان إعداد تقارير جرد غازات الدفيئة والتتبع بتاع المساهمات المحددة وطنيا. كان يعني له أثر كبير في إنه نحن نبني قدراتنا بالنسبة للفنيين والخبراء الوطنيين في السودان. إضافة لك كان يعني رجعنا للأدوات والطرق بالتحديد للرود ماب بتاع خريطة الطريق لتقارير الشفافية للسبت جي اس بي، برضو كان يعني واحدة من الحاجات السبورت جدا للسودان. الأنشطة برضو كانت يعني أتاحت لنا من خلال الورش الإقليمية والمنتديات، أتاحت لنا إنه الناس يعني تستفيد من الدروس بتاعت الدول اللي سبقتنا في إعداد البي تي آر، إضافة للتحديات اللي كانت بتعرض الدول. فكانت الورش الإقليمية والمنتديات كانت بالنسبة لنا فرصة إنه الناس من خلالها تعرف التحديات العامة اللي كانت بتواجه الكتابة للبي تي آر والحلول من مختلف الدول. يعني كان يعني واحدة من الأنشطة اللي أنا أتمنى إنه في 26 إنه يكون في عدد من الورش والمنتديات الإقليمية حتى لو كان ثنائية بين الدول. يعني استفدنا كثير، أو حاليا السودان يستفيد من التجارب بتاعت الدول والتحديات وطريقة حلها، ونحن بنجهز في إعداد البي تي آر الأول في السودان. بالنسبة للسؤال الثاني الأنشطة بتاعت السبت، يمكن السودان الورش التدريبية اتعملت ورشة واحدة في نهاية أكتوبر، لكن شارك في منتديات وفي المنتديات والورش الإقليمية. لكن الورشة اللي اتعملت للسودان يعني حقيقة كان عندها دور كبير جدا في إن تأهل لنا أو تغطي لنا جزء كبير من القدرات في بناء قدرات بتاعت الفنيين، خاصة ونحن بدينا نستأنف المشروع بتاع بناء قدرات الشفافية أو CBIT في السودان بعد الفترة بتاعت الحرب. فحقيقة كان الورشة كان ركزت على إنه شنو البي تي آر وشنو الاي تي اف والاستراكشر أو التركيبة بتاعت البي تي آر بالإضافة للأدوات، وكيف إنه أنا يعني أشتغل على التتبع بتاع المساهمات المحددة وطنيا. يمكن السودان كان عنده خبرات وخبراء في المجال بتاع جرد غازات الدفيئة والملي والاي بي سي سي سوفت وير بحكم التجارب بتاعته في تقارير الاتصال. يمكن السودان قدم لحد تقرير الاتصال الثالث و1 بي يو ار، فكان عندهم الخبرة. بس الحاجات الجديدة اللي في البي تي ار على سبيل المثال ال NDC tracking، فيمكن بالنسبة لنا كانت حاجة جديدة. فالحقيقة الورشة واحدة من الحاجات اللي كانت ساعدت فيها إنه كيف إنه الناس تشتغل على ال NDC tracking، وإنه كيف تشتغل على يعني the outline بالنسبة adaptation reporting أو وبرضه كان في واحدة من الحاجات اللي كان فيها دعم يعني وبناء قدرات في إنه كيف تعرض الجداول والفورمات الجديدة والام بي جيز وين المناطق أو المواقع بتاعت المرونة بالنسبة للسودان في كتابة التقارير. فحقيقة يعني الورشة هي مع إنها يعني كانت يومين وكنا بنتمنى إنها تكون أكتر يعني، لكن أدت يعني جرعة كافية جدا إنه الناس تعرف يعني أو تمشي في التراك يعني التراك الصحيح بالرغم من الصعوبات الحالية اللي بتواجه السودان في كثير من الأنشطة بتاعته أو تنفيذ الأنشطة بتاعته. بالنسبة للسؤال الثالث إنه حقيقة في أنشطة كثيرة نحن محتاجين لسه إنه يعني نتلقى فيها سبورت. واحدة منها إنه دايرين نركز على السي تي آر والسي تي اف وبرضه الفلكسبيليتي في الام بي جيز، يعني برضه محتاجين الخبراء يتمرنوا عليها اكثر. زي ما قلت نحن في البدايه انه اياداب حنقدم للبي تي ار 1. فواحده من الحاجات اللي برضه محتاجينها انه لسه نحن محتاجين نستمع للدروس بتاعت الدول المشهد قدامنا في كتابه البي تي ار ونشوف أكثر التحديات. يمكن في دول كثيرة بتكون أوضاعها مشابهة لأوضاعنا من ناحية بتاعة institution arrangement، من الناحية بتاعة الداتا management والداتا availability، وكثير من الدول يعني نحن ظروفنا شوي بتكون متشابهة. فواحدة من الحاجات يمكن اللي نحن بنكون محتاجين لها إنه لسه الناس محتاجة إنها تتبادل الخبرات وتستمع للدروس المستفادة من الدول اللي بدت. السؤال الأخير حقيقة في تحديات كثيرة بالنسبة لنا نحن للبي تي ار 1 ما البي تي ار 2، لأنه نحن ستيل ما عندنا يعني ما قدمنا للبي تي ار 1. لكن واحدة من التحديات اللي حتواجهنا أكيد حنكون محتاجين مزيد من الخبرات، مزيد من بناء القدرات المؤسسية قبل الفنية. بنكون محتاجين برضو للتدريب الكافي في الداتا مانجمنت والداتا افيلابل، يعني في الفولو اب بتاع الداتا. بالاضافه لانه برضو بنكون محتاجين لانه لسه الناس محتاجه تعرف اكثر عن الان دي سي تراكنج والتولز المستخدمه، باعتبارها انها شابتر جديد يعني يمكن في الناشونال كوميونيكيشن ما كان بنفس الطريقه الموجود في البي تي ار في الاستراكشر للبي تي ار حاليا. يمكن ده باختصار شديد. وبنتوقع كثير في 2026 حقيقة من سيبت جي اس بي وبالتعاون مع حقيقة مع هنا عندنا السودان يمكن الفاو اليو ان دي بي اوفيس السودان، فكان لهم برضو يعني لهم كان يعني صراحة مساهمة كبيرة في إنه حتى الورشة حقت السودان إنها تكون بالنجاح والتفاعل اللي كان موجود. يعني حقيقة شكرا جزيلا كلثوم فلير وفاو يو ان دي بي سودان، شكرا جزيلا.
شكرا كثير هيام على مشاركتك، ودايما فرحانين انه بنشتغل مع تيم من السودان، وهذا السبورت اللي يعني انعطى هذه السنة بس اول سبورت، وان شاء الله رح نشتغل كثير مع بعض لحتى نتمكن من يعني من تقديم البي تي ار خلال السنة الجاية ان شاء الله بإذن الله. I think for now we just Manar Abu Hazim from Jordan is still stuck in a radio station because she's the one she's given an intervention about the climate change efforts in Jordan. So I think for now we can go to the second or to the third session. Over to you, Freya. And when she comes, we can give her the floor again. Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. That sounds great. So just before we move to the third session, we wanted to, of course, open the floor to any of our other colleagues here to ask some questions to the people who presented on their experience from the CBIT project this year. I don't yet see any questions in the chat, but did anyone have anything to ask our colleagues from that I just presented there?
Yeah,
And of
actually,
course, you can feel free to put your questions into the chat, or you can raise your hands and ask ask in person too.
Hello.
Please go ahead. I think someone wants to speak, but he's not mentioning his name, unknown user. Please introduce yourself and take the floor.
Sure. This is I'm Iyad saying from Ministry of Environment. Actually, I would like to apologize for Manar because
yes.
because she's now on a interview, and she asked me if I share some of the answers regarding the questions regarding the IT support program for Jordan.
Yeah, please go ahead. Thank you very much for joining.
Sure. Well, I got the questions, and I just want to touch base with the how do the CBIT activities support the Jordan defining the national climate reporting. As you know, currently we are finalizing the BTR1. Okay, we are a bit late in delivering the report, but actually, hopefully, by the end of this month, the BTR1 report will be ready. Now, in terms how did that support or help? Actually, it's like work. It helped us in harmonizing methodologies in line with the IPCC guidelines and improve the understanding of the common tabular formats. Also, the CBIT platform enabled peer learning and provided technical backstopping that directly supported Jordan in defining the GHG investigation and support related chapters. So this is regarding how did CBIT support or help us in defining the R1. In terms of the lessons that learned, there are key lessons that learned includes the critical importance of early and continuous coordination among national, sectoral focal points, as well as the need for institutionalizing data sharing mechanisms to ensure sustainability. Question number 3, what are the areas of improvement for support activities? Support activities could be further enhanced by providing more sector-specific trainings, particularly on transparency and adaptation, Article 6 reporting, climate finance tracking, and so on. Developing and advanced digital tools for data management and CFF preparation would also be beneficial. Finally, now the BTR2 and BTR1. Last week, we have a workshop here in Jordan with the RSS, who are actually working on finalizing the BTR1. As you know, the BTR1 is like more or less the kind of inventory what's going on in terms of the GHG. Now, BTR2 will be actually prepared in parallel with the fifth communication report for Jordan, which is, that will be a good work. BTR2 will build on the BTR1, sure. So it's a kind of continuation what has been done before for the BTR for the BTR2. So it's a kind of actually a continuation. There is not really big challenges as long as the data available from the different stakeholders. So these are actually the answers regarding the 4 questions uh, that I would like to share with you.
Thank you so much, and thank you again for stepping in for your colleague right now. And I wanted to thank again all 4 of our colleagues for sharing some of their experiences and also providing us with some feedback, which of course we will be taking on and ensuring that it's brought forward into next year and our activities next year. So I don't think there have been any questions asked in the chat or any hands raised. And just in the interest of time, I think it's best that we move on to the next session. But of course, continue adding any questions that you have into the chat function or into the Q&A function of the Teams. And we can, of course, address them as we move on through the meeting, and also on the Climate Transparency platform, we can also answer any questions there as well. So now, and as we've said a few times in the meeting so far, a lot of the work that we do in the region is supported by and completed in collaboration with many of the partners that we are fortunate enough to be able to work with in our activities. And today we'll be hearing from colleagues from UNDP, UNEP ROA, FAO, and GGGI. So I would first well, I'd like to thank, of course, the colleagues for joining us here today on the call, and also for the work that we've been able to collaborate on in the region so far this year and into 2026 as well. So I would first invite from UNDP our colleague, Mrs. Eva Hutovna, to share some information on the UNDP and the work in the region. Eva, are you on the call? I can't see the participant list, so I'm not sure who's here and who isn't.
Yes, thank you, Freya. I'm in.
Hi, Eva.
And good morning, good afternoon to everyone. My name is Eva Hutova, and I'm a global technical coordinator for the JEP-funded transparency portfolio at UNDP. So thank you very much for giving us the floor and inviting us to participate in this annual network meeting for the MENA Transparency Network. So we also got like a guided question, so I'll be happy to provide a feedback as requested. So first of all, in terms of our collaboration in supporting MENA countries, you have heard already many examples that they have been mentioned by Kelto, by Denny, by the countries. So I'm not gonna go into the details or repeat them, but as you heard, there have been support provided either to individual countries in collaboration with UNDP and CBT-GSP to Jordan, Morocco, Lebanon, Sudan, but also there have been regional workshops or webinar series that we collaborated on. So UNDP is generally very appreciative for the collaboration that we have with the CBT-GSP. It is also very encouraging to hear all the positive feedback from the countries. And of course, we continue to be very attentive to the challenges countries are facing and their future support needs. CBT-GSP, from our perspective, is an additional layer of the support that is available to the countries and plays a key role in strengthening nationally implemented CBIT and BTR project by providing guidance, tools, and expertise that complement country-level implementation, but also provides a support outside of the project cycle. Regional networks in this support are a key delivery channel that is enabling and is very important for peer learning, practical problem solving, and exchange of BTR experiences among countries that are facing similar regional and institutional context. And what we have seen, activities have helped to, or continue to help countries to build their national capacities, improve climate transparency, and strengthen regional collaboration for a robust, sustainable reporting under the Paris Agreement. So in terms of how we can continue working together, and possibly expand our support. UNDP is currently supporting 9 countries from the network with 16 transparency projects. They are in different stages of the project cycle. So we can definitely continue building on the momentum by offering targeted technical support and follow-up sessions for countries preparing their BTRs or updating their transparency frameworks. There is also an opportunity for us to expand our collaboration for in-country support to additional MENA countries in our portfolio that may benefit from similar capacity building activities that we heard from the countries' examples. And then, of course, there is also space for a joint regional events or thematic webinars that could further enhance coherence and shared learning across the region. As we heard from Keltum and countries' examples, the scope of the support the countries can access is wide, and CBIT GSP team is always ensuring that it's also tailored to countries' needs, and we keep our minds and they're open to continue and enhance our collaboration with CBIT GSP in 2026 and also with CBIT GSP, but also with other partners to address countries' support needs as they are framed. So how MENA network has been useful for the region from our point of view, of course, we consider MENA network very important. It has created a valuable platform for regional coordination, knowledge exchange, and mutual support. It helps countries learn from each other's experience, address common challenges, and maintain ongoing engagement with evolving transparency requirements. From our perspective, it has strengthened regional ownership and contributed to more consistent and effective transparency effort across the region. So at the end, just let me also thank you for the effective collaboration and open communications throughout the year. And by joining the efforts, we have been able to provide more timely and targeted support and respond to countries' needs for ETF and BTR preparation, while also strengthening capacities for building sustainable transparency system. So your commitment, our commitment, and teamwork and shared vision, I believe, have been essential to these achievements, and we truly value the partnership that we have with Keltum and the CBIT GSP team overall. So we look forward to the continued collaboration in 2026, and as I said, we remain open for a discussion with the respective countries regarding their needs. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eva. That's very kind of you, and it's a great pleasure to continue working with UNDP. And because of the support that was provided by UNDP in many countries, we could reach out to them and provide the support, the technical support. So thank you very much for being very engaged and very collaborative. Over to you, Freya.
Yes, thank you so much, Eva. So now I would like to hand over to our colleague, Mr. Tarek Ahad from UNEP ROA. Tarek, are you on the call?
Yes, I'm here.
Thanks, Tarek.
Okay. Thank you, colleague. Thank you for inviting us to your annual meeting. It's really interesting to hear your achievement, also the reaction of the countries. From our side, as UNEP, we have one of the biggest portfolio we have in the Arab region, West Asia region specifically, is climate transparency. So we really focus on supporting countries to meet their reporting obligation under the UNFCCC and the Paris Agreement, particularly under the Enhanced Transparency Framework. So we do that in a different way. It depends on the country capacity. Sorry. But we focus on providing technical assistance, capacity building, targeted tool to support countries in preparing their national communication and BTR mostly. As you know, the the big difference between the national communication and the BTR is mostly the tracking NDCs and the CTR, the CTF, with the new tweaks for the inventory. So having CBIT let's say on board filling those gaps, it was very good experience we had in Iraq. And we are trying to replicate this in different countries. We worked closely with the CBT when they participated in a workshop as a technical expert and delivered targeted capacity building session for Iraq BTR. So this session focused on NDC tracking, which is again, this is something new and not all the countries know how to do that. Also, we learned from CBIT on how we can identify smart indicators, strengthening monitoring and reporting system in line with the ETF requirement. So as I was saying, Yani, it's important to take advantage of the CBIT to fill the gaps you have in your transparency work. That's what we did in Iraq as unit. We also work after the completion of the Iraq BTR. The CBI team also concluded the quality assurance and quality control across all chapters. So this is something also we want to take advantage of and share the other close to finish BTR where CBIT team can really help us in the final review. In general, we look really forward to continue working with the CBIT team, and especially to fill the gaps we are facing. Now also with other BTRs we are working on, especially in Kuwait and Iraq, we felt that there is a need for capacity building on inventory creation and repopulation. No matter how much capacity building you do in this area, the stuff keep changing, and we learned from other project and on the project actually that involving other ministries, such as Ministry of Energies and Ministry of Agriculture, Land and Administration, and having them directly contributing to the inventory creation and data collection and data entering will help create a sustainable way to have a national team ready to fill or to update the inventory on a regular basis. And especially now with the BTR, we are moving to CTR, the common table, etc., and CTF, and the update is easy. We do still feel that countries need support on transaction in the IBCC report to the enhanced transparency platform, what we call a JSON file. We are seeing a lot of countries requesting support in this area. So this is also where we are planning to talk to CBIT colleague and to see how they can support us in that. But in general, the existing of your program is important to help us help the countries in finalizing and drafting a concrete BTR. And thanks to you, we finished Iraq BTR in a speedlight, let's say, time frame, only 6 months. And we were very happy to learn that there was no comment from the Secretary. So your review helped us as well to conclude a very successful project. That said, maybe I can add that we see strong value in promoting cross-country exchanges, especially now hearing Lebanon and Sudan experience. Maybe CBIT can help us to bring all the, let's say, transparency stakeholder together and to exchange and to see what are the lessons learned, etc. And that's it. I'll conclude by congratulating you on your solid achievement, and we will continue working with you. Thank you.
Thank you
Also,
very
I'm really
much.
sorry I have to leave for another meeting that started 5 minutes ago. So sorry
It's
for
okay,
not being
Tariq.
able to stay. Yes.
It's okay. Just thank you very much for Unipro. Thank you for Maya for the the great collaboration. Thank you for Mirak, and thank you for all the team. And we are always here in whatever you need. And
Yes.
as I say always, we're cousins, UNEP Pro and
That's
UNEP
very much
CCC.
true. Very much true.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kaitun. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Thank you very much, Tarek. Now I would like to ask Ms. Mirella Salvatore from FAO to share some experience and some information and comments from FAO's side. So go ahead, Mirella. It's nice to see you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting us to give us just a few words of speech. And allow me, first of all, to provide my great appreciation of the support that Khartoum is providing to the region for our work. But in particular, really, I want to stress on the capacity of bringing together and collaborating with our work at FAO. I'm bringing this appreciation not only from my side, but for the full team that has been working with the Khartoum in different countries. So we really appreciate the collaboration that is going really very easy, straightforward, very programmatic, very strategic. There is a sense of trust and build between the different people. So we have been very easily creating this collaboration. We always discuss very openly, and we are able really to achieve and bring really the best support to the country, because she has a vision from the country, from the region. She gets a very clear understanding about their needs, and we just stand ready to provide our technical support based on her guidance in the work that we can do in the region. So I really hope that we continue, and indeed we are already planning to do several other activities in the region. So I really looking forward for 2026 in the support in the region. Just to give a little bit of explanation also to our participants, my presence here. So at FAO, we are also one of the implementing agency for the CBAT and the enabling activity projects. We don't have in this specific region project in particular. We are focusing largely more in Central Asia and in Asia and the Pacific. But we stand ready of providing technical support. In addition to the general support as implementing agency, I'm leading the capacity building projects, or CBAT, so-called Apollo projects, that provide additional support. And through this global project that indeed we join forces with the CBAT GSP, and in many times UNEP and UNDP also enter in our technical support. We also provide the technical support country that request specific trainings in particular, for sure, in what is regarding the agricultural, land use and land use change and forestry sector, when we look at the inventory part. But we are working also in NDC tracking. We are working also in adaptation reporting. Besides the work that we have been doing in collaboration with Khartoum, I would like to thank back also Andalus from Morocco, because we always appreciated the work together with Morocco. And also, I want to thank also from Sudan. We have been working together in providing the training. Very, very enthusiastic reaction also from our trainers, that they found the country open to discuss topics complicated to be discussed online, for sure, but open at the first box of understanding each other in order to design something more in details when the in-person work could be possible. Besides this support together with the CBAT GSP, we've been also supporting with an online training on the GHG inventory in Yemen. Thanks also to our FAO country office that is providing also resources for putting together this training. We've been supporting Egypt for the IMDC and the monitoring evaluation system for adaptation, the same that we have been doing also in Tunisia. And indeed, based on this experience, that we are thinking to design something for 2026 with the CBAT GSP, specifically on adaptation, but we will continue also to support country based on their request. So feel free to reach us out or eventually through CBAT GSP, requesting any technical support that we can provide. So I really thank you so much, Keltoon. You are doing a great job. We appreciate continuously our relationship and our working together. So we're looking forward to continue this collaboration and to support the country as needed. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mirella. Thank you for the great and smooth collaboration. It's really, really very easy to work with FAO, and they are very much interested to support the MENA countries. And also we are working on organizing the regional workshop for next year in Tunisia in collaboration with our colleagues from FAO to learn from their great experience in terms of monitoring, evaluation, and reporting for adaptation, loss, and damage. And thank you to Jordanis, Vivian, to Habiba, to all the team.
Thank you so much, Mirella, and thanks again, Kaltoum. And finally, just to hear from GGI, who of course we collaborated closely with this year for the regional meeting in Cairo, and then also in the Article 6 webinar series that was the last webinar series that was held in the MENA region this year. So I'd like to hand over to Nassif. I think I can't see the participants, but I think he's online.
Yeah, I'm here. Do you hear me?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you very much, and good morning to everyone, especially good to see you again, Freya and Keltoum. It's a real pleasure to join this annual meeting of the MENA Transparency Network and to speak on behalf of TGI during this session dedicated to cooperation with CBI GSP partners. At the outset, I would like to warmly thank UNEP CCC and the CBI GSP team for the excellent collaboration throughout 2025, and in particular, of course, Mrs. Keltoum, whose role as the MENA regional coordinator has been absolutely central in making this cooperation both effective and impactful. And from GI's perspective, 2025 stand out as a year where collaboration moved beyond coordination and become now a true partnership grounded in trust, responsiveness, and shared objectives. As we know, 2025 has been a critical year for transparency in the MENA region. Countries are at a very different stage of readiness under the enhanced transparency framework. Some have already submitted their first BTR, while many others are still navigating complex challenges related to data systems, institution coordination, technical capacity, and alignment with evolving international guidance. And in that context, the role of CBI GSP and UNFCCC has been particularly important, not only in providing technical guidance, but also in creating safe collaborative spaces where countries can learn from each other, ask very concrete questions, and progressively build confidence in their national reporting systems. And for GGI, this context is also highly relevant because transparency and reporting are increasingly linked to implementation, particularly when countries start engaging with Article 6 cooperative approaches and carbon market. This is precisely where our collaboration naturally converged in this year, 2025. And as you mentioned, Freya, cornerstone of this cooperation was the 4-day regional workshop held in Egypt, which brought together, I think, 14 countries from across the MENA region. This workshop was in many ways a flagship example of what strong partnerships looks like in practice. And of course, thanks to the excellent organization by CBI GSP, particularly Freya and Kulthum. The agenda was carefully structured to balance policy discussions, technical debts, and pre-exchanges. And countries were not passive participants. They were actively engaged, sharing real challenges they face in preparing the BTR, especially when it comes to mitigation reporting, tracking progress, and ensuring internet consistency. And within this framework, GI delivered a full day dedicated training on Arctic 6 reporting, which was, I think, the first experience with CBIT in Arctic 6 reporting, which of course focused on how Arctic 6 interfaces with transparency requirements under the ETF. And we addressed very practical questions such as how Arctic 6 activity should be reflected in national reporting systems, how mitigation outcomes related to BTR tables and narrative sections, and how countries can start preparing now for the future Arctic 6 reporting, even if, they are still early in their readiness process, but just to have an idea about what they can expect. And what struck us most during this session was the level of engagement and the quality of questions from the country teams. It was very clear that Arctic 6 reporting is no longer seen as a distant or abstract topic. It's becoming a concrete and pressing issue for many countries in the region. And if you remember from Cairo, so we had 2 hours questions regarding to Arctic 6, which didn't allow us to continue the program. But yeah, that shows that it's very interesting. And this is what I can mention as the strongest indicator of success that came after the Egypt workshop is that following this full day training in Arctic 6, many countries explicitly requested additional support and asked for more time to go deeper into the topic. And this is a very important point to highlight, as in capacity building demand from countries is the clearest signal that an intervention was both relevant and useful. And this demand did not go unanswered. And once again, Mrs. Giltum and CBIT GSP team played the key role here by quickly mobilizing partners and organizing a dedicated online session on Arctic 6 reporting, specifically responding to country requests. And this session was co-delivered by GGI and RCC, further strengthening institution coherence and ensuring alignment with UNFCCC processes. And from GGI perspective, this responsiveness is a defining feature of the CBIT GSP partnership model, listening carefully to countries and translating needs into concrete action effectively and collaboratively. And I would like to take a moment to reflect on why this partnership works well. First, there is a strong complementary of mandates and expertise. So UNFCCC brings long-standing leadership on transparency, reporting, and ETF implementation. CBIT GSP provide a robust regional coordination platform and continuity of support. And GGI came here in order to contribute with hands-on experience in carbon market, Arctic 6 implementation, and policy to practice translation. Second, there is a shared understanding that transparency is not an end in itself. It's a foundation for implementation, for accessing climate finance, and for engaging in mechanisms such as Arctic 6 in a credible and environmentally robust manner. And third, there is a strong culture of collaboration rather than competition. So the work in 2025 showed that when organizations align their strengths and coordinate closely, countries receive clear messages, more consistent guidance, and more practical support. And this collaboration in the MENA region is not isolated. I want to mention that it reflects a broader strategic partnership between UNFCCC and GI at the global level. And the key concrete example is the German-funded Spark program, under which UNFCCC and GI are both key delivery partners. Through Spark program, we jointly support countries such as Colombia, Pakistan, Thailand, and Zambia in preparing for participation in Arctic 6 carbon markets, which include building institution and legal readiness, supporting transparency and reporting system, and strengthen national capacity to engage in Article 6 with integrity and confidence. And this experience from Spark reinforced that what we have seen in the MENA, which is when transparency experts and capital markets practitioners work hand in hand, the countries are better equipped to move from reporting to real-world implementation. And this is why Spark program is also a success, and we want to duplicate it and continue this collaboration. So looking ahead, GI is very keen, of course, to continue and deepen this collaboration with UNFCCC and CBIT GSP in the MENA region. As countries move toward BTR2 and as Arctic 6 discussion become more concrete at the national level, the link between transparency and implementation will only become stronger, and we see value in continuing joint effort on advanced reporting topics, including Arctic 6 related reporting, practical guidance tailored to different level of country readiness, and sustained regional peer learning. So maybe something here before I conclude is that what I can see as potential future collaboration between GI and UNFCCC is to work on the governance structure and institution arrangement, as Morocco is now advancing on this topic and finalizing the Arctic 6 framework and the governance, which and the related topics. So maybe we can work together to duplicate this experience in other countries, at least to show the Moroccan model. So to conclude, I would like to once again express a sincere appreciation to UNFCCC and CBIT GSP team, and especially Mrs. Kulthum for the outstanding year of cooperation in 2025. We truly value this partnership and look forward to building on it together to support many countries in strengthening transparency, enhancing readiness, and ultimately delivering on the objectives of the Paris Agreement. So thank you very much, you all.
Thank you very much, Nassif. And I want to again thank all the speakers here today who have shared some of the insights from the partner organizations and also earlier from the countries as well. Now, I'm just a bit conscious of time because I know we've had some quite engaging discussions on some of the support received and the support provided by the different support providers. So I think what we will do instead is we'll now move on to Kulthum running through the work plan for 2026, and then we will finish the session with some interaction after the work plan presentation and a short Menti to sort of go through a bit of everyone's status and whether or not everything captured in the 2026 work plan responds to the needs of your countries as we move into 2026. So over to you, Kulthum, and please, as Kulthum is presenting, and if you have any questions, put them into the chat, and if not, we'll be able to talk through any specific details after Kulthum has presented. So go ahead, Kulthum.
Thank you very much, Freya, and thank you, Nassif, for the great collaboration. It's a great pleasure to work with GGI, with some colleagues. I like to mention the names of people because they need some acknowledgement from our side. So thank you to Nassif, to Sid, to the director, Mr. Mohamedou. Thank you to Mr. Benis, and also to Abdelwahid from GGI. Thank you very much. And here I will briefly present the annual work plan that we are proposing, and this is just a proposal, like a first draft of 2026, building on the achievements, lessons learned, and priorities identified through our work in last year in 2025, and also the MENA BTR analysis that was conducted in November and December, and some insights from that work will be shared in short with all the network, and also the annual report here. So the table here is providing an updated overview of the reporting statute of MENA network countries under the ATF and the UNFCCC reporting obligation, and it includes the latest submissions in terms of BTRs, NDC 3.0, national communications, BURs, adaptation communications, and LTLEDs, and with the dates of each submission. And this snapshot highlights the significant progress made across the region. And particularly, we're talking about 2024 and 2025. As you can see here, several countries submitted their first BTRs, updated their national communication 3.0, and also advanced in preparing adaptation communications and LTLEDs. It also shows countries that are still in preparation phases or have yet to initiate certain reporting instruments, which is offering a clear picture of the remaining gaps and future support needs. So by the end of 2025, reporting progress across the MENA network shows, we can say, a balanced progress in both BTR1 and NDC 3.0 submissions. So here, out of 20 countries, we have already 11 countries submitted their first BTR during these 2 years, 2024 and 2025. So it's almost like 52%. Several countries, Algeria, Egypt, Lebanon, Morocco, and Tunisia, they submitted their BTR by December 2024, which means respecting the deadline, the first deadline, and others submitted in 2025, namely Iraq, Jordan, Oman, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, and UAE, Emirates. This also is reflecting that the period in which many countries were finalizing their BTR preparation process. We have 3 additional countries, Qatar, Kuwait, and Mauritania, are expected to submit in the first quarter of next year. And the remaining countries are expected to begin or to start working on their BTR next year also. So countries that have already submitted their BTR1 are, of course, naturally those planning to initiate preparation of their BTR2, which means the 11 countries. In terms of NDC 3.0, we have already 10 countries submitted their updated NDC in 2025, respecting the deadlines also. So the majority of submissions took place between September and December, notably from Morocco, Lebanon, Jordan, Bahrain, Oman, and Qatar, and other countries such as Emirates, UAE, Mauritania, and Somalia. They submitted earlier this year. And Tunisia also shared a draft of NDC 3.0 in September, which is also considered as NDC 3.0. Looking ahead to next year, inshallah, the CBGSP MENA network will focus on consolidating ETF implementation and responding more closely to different needs of countries, building on the lessons learned from the first round of BTR submissions. So first priority here is to scale up country-driven CBIT support, which means expanding the number of countries benefiting from national CBIT projects and supports countries in designing strong projects, concept notes, and BIFs. Another key focus is the sanctioned in-country support. So the support will be tailored according to countries' BTR statute, whether they are responding to the TOR process and the recommendations, so we can support countries in that stage, also in finalizing their BTR1 or starting their BTR2, and a lot of flexibility and alignment will be provided based on the national priorities, sometimes in the middle of the year, so priorities change. We will also address key gaps identified during BTR preparation, such as NDC tracking, consistency between the narrative chapters and the electronic reporting or CRTs and CCFs. Also, when it comes to the institutional coordination, and we will focus more this year on the peer learning and regional exchange, not only in the MENA, but also with other regions in the world. Responding to technical expert review findings, we will be important to understand how to use them to improve the quality of their subsequent BTRs, BTR2 and future BTRs. Strengthening a GG inventory system will remain a core priority, of course, including PAKC and peer learning among countries. So we'll have a lot of sessions on peer learning, alongside increased focus on adaptation, loss and damage, and not only on reporting, but also monitoring and evaluation. And finally, of course, we will continue to promote the use of the ATF reporting tools, the UNFCCC ATF reporting tools, as not many countries from the MENA region use them in their reporting process for the first BTR. So here, let me present the first 6 months of the regional activities planned for 2026. And as I mentioned previously, we will start with post-COP 30 Transparency Outlook, which is a webinar in collaboration with the Anglophone Africa Network, and we will have speakers from the African group of negotiators and Arab group. Just to highlight the key point discussed during COP30 and the findings. Another webinar will be on designing successful CBIT projects and how to apply and prepare a strong PIF. And this is for countries who are just starting working on their CBIT 1, or the other countries who are willing to start the CBIT 2, followed by a peer learning on the implementation of the national CBIT project, sharing experiences and challenges and also lessons learned. And here we will have countries from other regions, from Africa and maybe other networks, sharing their experience on the national CBIT projects, and not only the first phase, but also the second phase and how this should be aligned to the priorities of the country. We will have an open dialogue on BTR preparation in the MENA region. And this is, as you can see here, we are not this year tackling the technical chapters or areas. So here we are most trying to have everyone around the table and discuss what are the specific needs and specific challenges. So it will be addressed to the technical challenges across all the chapters. So of course, countries will be contacted before to have an idea of what kind of questions or specific issues will be addressed. Regional workshop, and this is the in-person regional workshop inviting the 20 countries from the MENA region. It will be on adaptation and loss and damage, monitoring, evaluation, and reporting in collaboration with the FAO colleagues, and it will be held, inshallah, in Tunisia. It will be followed also with the webinar series on adaptation action, but presenting some practical approaches and methodologies for monitoring and evaluation and reporting. In the second half of the year, so we will have another webinar, like an open dialogue, but this time not on BTR chapters, but on ETF reporting tools and trying to tackle and to address all the challenges that MENA countries are facing in this case. And we will have UNFCCC colleagues, of course, sharing experiences and lessons and insights from the first technical expert review process. And as it was already mentioned by Leah, so we will have Morocco already completed its BTR review, and also Tunisia, and also Lebanon, and maybe other countries. And in this meeting or this event, we will have other experience sharing from other networks as well. Another experience sharing on Article 6 reporting, and this time it will just be built on the technical webinars that we already organized last month. So we will have a follow-up session on experience sharing, and namely, of course, Tunisia, because they already submitted their first or initial reports, Morocco, Emirates, and maybe Jordan with us. And we will try to have other countries from other regions as well. Getting ready before COP31, of course. So in October, we will have a webinar on how to be prepared well for negotiations on transparency for COP31. We will conclude the year with the gender toolkit, and hopefully it will be finalized by then. So we'll present the how this gender toolkit can be useful for the climate reporting, and conclude also with our CBGSP annual network meeting, just like this one. These are the first parts of in-country activities. In-country activities will start with Tunisia. We already started discussion with them, how we can support them in identifying the activities and the lessons learned and results from CBIT 2 based on their lessons learned and gaps and challenges from CBIT phase 1. And it's the same, mainly the same support that will be provided for Morocco. For Saudi Arabia, we are still working with them on developing the guide on tracking progress of domestic policies and measures to address the social and the economic consequences of response measures. So we will continue that, and hopefully we will conclude with a workshop presenting the results of that guide. This year we'll have a peer learning in collaboration with Anglophone Africa Network on GG inventory and the IPCC software, and 2 countries from each network will be invited. We'll start with probably Saudi Arabia for energy sector, for LULUCF sector, Egypt, and for Bahrain for waste sector, and also maybe Algeria for agriculture sector. At the same time, we will provide the workshop, in-person workshop in Oman. That workshop was already expected to be held in October, but the country requested to postpone until February. So it will be on ETF implementation and BTR preparation, with a focus on GG inventory and NDC tracking, and also institutional arrangements. For Sudan, also, we will continue working on the NID and NDC tracking chapters next year in collaboration with FAO, inshallah, to respond to their second request that was expressed this year. Another mutual peer learning among MENA countries and Eurasia, and also Anglophone Africa, will be organized from March to July or to June, and many countries will be invited from each network to get engaged in this mutual learning about adaptation reporting. We'll try to have an hands-on training on BTR preparation and the focus on NDC tracking on April to answer the request that was expressed by Mauritania. Here also, we would like to support Jordan in its submission of their first CBIT with UNEPROA and help them to to design the beef and logical framework. Another workshop will be in Somalia on ATF implementation and BTR preparation in September during next year, and also with Djibouti. But with Djibouti, it's conditional with the for Djibouti and Somalia as well. It's conditional with their launch or starting working on their BTR1. So for Djibouti, the country expressed the need on a hands-on on IPCC guidelines and software for their GG inventory chapter and CRTs. Just as a follow-up to the first workshop that was held in December 2024. And that's just a proposal from our side, and it will be enhanced, adjusted more via the coordination meetings that will be held in January, of course. And thank you very much for your attention. Over to you, Freya.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Thank you so much, Kaltoum, for sharing that. And I'm sure right now there's a lot of questions surrounding some of the activities that have been put in there. And of course, this draft version, these slides kind of going through the draft work plan will be shared with each of you after today's meeting. So of course, now I feel like maybe some people have some questions relating to the activities set out. I can see that Mirella already has her hand raised, and Mirella, I don't know if you want to quickly speak.
I'm really sorry. I was trying to have a reaction and I just raised the hand. But for sure, I noticed that there are other activities that we are quite interested to listen. So for sure, Kaltoum, also this peer learning exchange in Egypt for LULUCF and agriculture in Algeria. So that will be interested to be part of it, support, provide any kind of anything that it could be useful for the country. But also we want to even be part of just listening, because listening from the country is also aligning us how we can provide better support in the future. Thank you so much.
Of course, with pleasure, Mirella.
Thank you, Mirella.
You will be with us, inshallah.
So I think what I can see one hand raised. I can see that Rehab has her hand raised. Rehab, if you want to go ahead.
Good morning, Rehab.
Yes. Rehab, we're having trouble hearing you. Rehab, maybe just if there's a bit of connection issues, if you want to type your question into the chat function, then we'll be able to answer you. But there just seems to be a very poor connection right now, so we can't hear you properly.
Can you hear me now? No?
Yeah, we can hear you now, Rehab.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, and let me at the outset express my sincere appreciation for the CBGSP and other organizations for your hard work, for your collaboration and commitment throughout 2025. And you really did a very amazing job, which helped our countries in advancing the reporting process. Regarding 2026 work plan, I believe that we should focus more or should do more webinars for the electronic reporting the common reporting tables and common tabular formats, because our countries in the region are facing critical challenges with the electronic reporting. So I believe that more time and more webinars should be dedicated for the electronic reporting. Yeah, and I will stop here. This is my comment regarding the work plan for 2026, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rakab. And I think now what I've actually done is I am going to share a Menti for everyone to join. And I think that through this Menti, you will also be able to gain to each of you to give a little bit of feedback on what was presented by Khartoum, and also for you to make any sort of similar comments like Rakab has about any aspects that you think is missing, or items that you think should be included, or key things that we should be focusing on. So if you just give me 1 second, I will share my screen. So if I just share here. So I think what you should all be able to do now is scan the code on the screen here, and or you could also alternatively go to menti.com and enter the code 31106848. And I don't know if anyone, Khartoum, maybe if you want to type the code into the chat just for people to easily be able to access. But I can see already that quite a few people are joining. There's 6, but I think there's quite a few of you still on the call. So I hope we can get a few more people joining the call, but I'll just leave this up for a minute or so that people can join. And Khartoum, if possible, would you be able to copy the link into the chat? Or at least copy menti.com into the chat and the code. I want to try and to at least get at least 20 of you on the Menti before I get started, and then of course other people can join as we go. And we'll try to go through this as quickly as possible. You know, I know that we're already 15 or so minutes over the time, but I think we've been really detailed in going over some of the key things achieved this year. So I hope that everyone can stay on the call for at least another 10 minutes just while we finish off this feedback element of the session. I think we've got 13 so far. I'm not sure if we can get a few more people. But if the instructions are in the chat, then I think we can make a start and people can join as we go through. So Khartoum, they are in the chat, aren't they? The link and the code. And if it's not Khartoum, could you send it? But if not, I will make a start now. So obviously the first one that we have, and we've got 4 responses so far, but the first question is, to what extent do the proposed activities for 2026 match your country's priorities? So we're seeing quite a few people saying that it does match, a few medium, and not so many saying less. But it'd be great if all 15 of the people who are who are active to provide their feedback here. But I think it's great to see that what's been set out is really much responding to what the priorities are. Now, if the next bit is if you could add 1 new activity to the 2026 MENA transparency work plan, what would it be? So we've got 1, the electronic reporting. I am going to assume that that's maybe Rehab who's added that one. Focus on CTF, CTR, and IPP software. So that again sort of links a little bit to the electronic reporting, hands-on projection tools such as Leap, Mitica, digital tools, yes, of course. adaptation, loss and damage, which is going to be, as Kaltoum said, the main focus of the regional meeting in hopefully which will be held in Tunis next year. And maybe for the person who's wrote digital tools, if you could add on the Teams Q&A function, you know, maybe if there are any specific tools that you want to look at. Is it digital tools for MRV? Is it digital tools relating to your inventory? It would be great to hear a little bit more on that specifically. And of course, this Menti will be open for it won't close after the call has ended, so you can continue going into this and adding in some of the key areas that you want to see added. But I'll move on. Do you feel like there is anything missing from the work plan? And we've said no, or we said a nice comment that it covers some of the key areas of the MENA region. How to calculate uncertainties, that's great feedback, and we can definitely ensure that we try and capture this within the work plan in some activities. Any other comments on this one? If not, I move on and we can look at this later. So for this one, would you like to have one-on-one sessions with your network coordinator to further discuss activities for 2026? So we've got a maybe and we've got some yeses. And I think we've got another participant added to this so far, so a few more have been here as well. So please feel free to add your feedback into the previous questions as well, and we'll make sure to look through all the responses after the call today. So we've got quite a few yeses or maybes. No, so far no no's. So maybe the outcome of that is that maybe Kaltoum is going to have some more conversations with you going forward. And I think the next slide, I've asked you to just indicate which countries would like to have maybe some one-on-one bilateral conversations with Kaltoum, either before the end of the year or in the new year, just on the activities proposed. So yeah, feel free to go through and add in your country's name here. And we can, of course, come back to this and review this after today's session. So for the countries that have not yet submitted your BTR1, what have been the main challenges that have led to the submission not yet happening? So we've got one that has said the lack of national capacities or in-house experts, which I think is something that a lot of countries, not just in the MENA region, are experiencing as it relates to BTR1. I'm not sure if anyone else has any other challenges they'd like to put forward or discuss. And this could be institutional, it could be, you know, due to lack of data or, you know, time constraints. And I think quite a few countries have submitted, so perhaps that's why we aren't getting as much input onto this question. So I'll just move on to the next. So what support could be provided in 2026 to aid the BTR1 submissions? So the quality check of chapters, which I think is very important. I think we heard that from some of the experience sharing that took place earlier in the session with the CBGSB team and also some experts within UNEP CCC. We offer a sort of preliminary quality check of either your full BTR or BTR chapters ahead of your submission to the UNFCCC, and we provide feedback in relation to some, you know, areas where changes are able to be made before that submission that still allows for sort of a timely submission of your BTR. And it'd be great if we could get a little bit more. I think there's only 2 people who have provided responses here, so please, you know, we want to use this feedback to better help shape the support that's given next year. So it's important to hear from you now on this. But just in the interest of time, just because I know we are running over a little bit, I will move on, but feel free to continue adding your feedback into this. Has your country started BTR2 process? So we've got some countries, yes, some saying no for the time being. And at what stage of the BTR process are you? So obviously for those who haven't started, but people are obviously making updates to their greenhouse gas inventory. Whereas another saying that you're in the initiative phase, so you're contacting the relevant stakeholders for the planning, etc. So that's really good to hear. And obviously with the deadline for submission of the BTR2 being in December 2026, what we would obviously really like to understand is which of the countries would be interested or think with interest that they'll be submitting their BTR2 in 2026, and we can see that you know, at least a few countries are already planning to submit their BTR in 2026. So of course, you know, we want to ensure that then the support that we provide this year matches closely to your priority or your expectation to submit in 2026. And what support is required to ensure that submission. So we've got some information on IPPC software training. So for the country who is, you know, who has put this, you know, that's definitely something to reach out to Khartoum and myself and the team about if there's any specific areas that will help aiding in your BTR2 submission next year, sorry. And yeah, the priority, it's good to see that the priority is the submission before December 2026. Has anyone got any other key priorities for your countries? And this could be, you know, it's submitting BTR1. It could be, you know, responding to comments from the technical expert review if your country has gone under it or plans to go under the technical expert review in 2026. So of course, you know, go through and add your feedback on this. Digital tools. Let's move on to the next one. And what is your country's biggest concern about the next BTR reporting cycle? So meeting the submission deadline is coming up as one. Implementing newer advanced methodologies. Yeah, of course. I think this one is for a lot of countries. I think what we saw across the globe really in terms of the reporting methodologies, especially for the inventory, was a lot of countries utilizing the tier 1 approach. So I think a few countries will be hoping to move into the tier 2 category, which of course requires more advanced methodologies. We've also got the improving data quality and completeness, addressing gaps identified in the BTR1 technical review. And of course, that is something, you know, something that we'll be looking towards next year is, you know, helping countries and maybe addressing some of the comments that can be addressed in BTR2 from their technical expert review. But yeah, meeting the deadline seems to be the key there. And as you transition from your first BTR submission, what is your country's biggest risk or concern about sustaining capacity beyond project-based support? So the data availability and lack of experts, and I think that has kind of reigned true across the region and across some of the other networks that we work with as well, going forward. And finally, just to finish off today, how satisfied are you with today's meeting? So I think so far got very satisfied, and we hope that the information that's been set out has been clear. And of course, you can reach out to Khartoum and I and other members of the team and our partners here today for any other questions that you might have relating to the work plan and relating to the activities for next year. So Khartoum will be sharing the recording of today's session. That'll be on the YouTube. We'll also be sharing the slides on the Climate Transparency Network, which will have all the information on the work plan, etc. And of course, for those countries who have said they would like to have some one-on-one conversations with Khartoum, either at the end of this year or in January next year, ahead of, you know, finalizing the work plan, then of course reach out to us and we can organize some time to sit down and talk one-on-one. But yes, thank you so much for joining us all today. And yeah, I'll hand over to Khartoum for some closing remarks.
Thank you very much, Freya. So from my side, I don't have much to add. Thank you very much for everyone, for all countries from the MENA. And it's really, really a pleasure. Keep working with you on transparency. And I'm here and wherever you want, and any needs you would like to express, any activities. So it's a great pleasure also to work with Freya on this. Freya is enjoying working with the MENA network as well. And I want to thank Kitsiwi, Dennis, our team, all our team, our partners, Eva, Tariq, Mirella, Nasif, and everyone. And again, thank you for countries, and don't hesitate to contact me in any needs you want on transparency, BTR 1 or 2, or NDC tracking, or specific challenges. We are just here for that. And have a nice, I think, afternoon for me, and it may be evening for some. So thank you very much for joining, and see you, inshallah, very soon. You will be contacted for the coordination meetings, bilateral meetings.
Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Team Shan.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Ian.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much. Thank you.